started fishing out there, just don't want to really buy hundreds of dollars worth of gear to go catch 100-pound catfish. It's just too hard, too frustrating sometimes, and it's too hard to fish like that. So one of the easier ways to do it down here in the south is just to catch some 1, 5, maybe even 10-pound catfish. And I'm going to teach you how to do that today. This method will catch larger catfish on occasion. Not saying it won't, but chances of you landing them is very slim. So what I've got today here is, this is my favorite rod. It is a Fluger Tryon GX spinning combo. It is a 6'6" medium heavy rod with a 7-ball bearing reel. It's very smooth and I like it. It's a 2-piece rod. And as you can see on this, it's got fairly light tip there. I mean, it's probably medium tip. It's not an extra fast or anything. And then the back is, when I'm pulling on it, it's still got a lot of bone, so it'll definitely set the hook in a big cat. Now, what you first want to do, Zach, could you bring me the sinkers, please?
Yeah.
Right here. All 3 of them. What you first want to do is you want to get the sliding weight. Thank you. And you want to put it bullet point end first onto your line and slide it. And you want about, I'd say that's about 2.5, 3 feet. Then you take one of the split shot and split shot it right there. You can do that with pliers or your teeth or whatever. That's gonna stop that egg sinker from going, or that bullet weight from going down to your hook. Then about 1 foot up, you take the second split shot and you set it there. Because when you cast, you don't want that bullet weight flying 20 feet away from your bait. Another sinker. So now what we've got is, we've got a split shot right here. About 1.5 feet down, we have another split shot, and in between we have this sliding weight. Now the reason for 3 weights like this, the 2 weights give it a little extra oomph to get it out there a little further and to stop the sliding weight. Because you don't want that just free sliding up from the hook all the way up to your rod. The reason we have the sliding weight is if these are both on the bottom and the catfish takes the bait, he's going to pull that without feeling much tension. Now if this was just a giant piece of weight and he bit on that, he's going to feel that tension from the big 3/8 ounce bullet weight. Okay? So now that you've got those 3 weights on, you take the end, hook. I've got a 2/0 wide gap hook. Okay? I mean, people use these for bass, and a lot of catfish fishermen prefer to use circle hooks. And I am not against that. But these work really good for threading the bait on, and once they're in the mouth, they set really good just like a circle hook. So don't let people tell you that just so you have to go out and buy a $10, $15 package of circle hooks. Now, when you're tying this hook on, you can tie tons of knots. You can tie the Palomar knot, you can tie the clinch knot, but out of all of them, I prefer the improved clinch. So what you do for this, you put it through the eye, you go down about 3 inches, okay? Then you put it back with the line. Now you have this big loop. You wrap the line, you put your thumb in the hole, and you wrap the line around 7 to 9 times. then that hole that you plugged with your thumb, you're going to put it back through. And now you've got this other hole right here. Okay? So you're going to put that line back through that hole. It's a very strong knot, and it's very durable. Now, for the best application of this, wet the line with your saliva. Just like so. And then pull tight with the line and the tag end, and take your fingernails on the line, slide it down to the eye of the hook. Now that improved clinch knot is not coming undone, no matter what. I forgot to talk about line. This isn't the best line for catfish fishing. I have 8-pound monofilament, very stretchy, not the best line at all. Now, preferred line for this method of fishing is braid or not monofilament. I don't know, I'll think of it later. Anyways, fluorocarbon, braid or fluorocarbon. And I recommend, if you're just going for small catfish, 10 to 15 pound. But with this 8-pound, I like it better because you actually get to fight the fish. You see all these catfish fishermen, they're going for 50-pound fish, but they've got a rod that could bring in a shark, and they've got 300-pound braid on, and stop moving the rod, please. And I think it's ridiculous. When I catch fish, I'm pretty strictly catch and release unless I'm fishing for walleye, and I actually like fighting the fish. I don't like just hogging them in. Just, oh my god, I got a fish! And skipping across the top of the water, 20-pound fish. No, I don't like that. I actually like feeling the fight with the fish. So what I do is I get this 8-pound monofilament, and I've brought in 2, 3, 5-pound catfish with this, okay? So, once you've got that, you've got your sliding weight between the 2 split shot and your hook. So, this hook's going to be anywhere from 2.5 feet to 5 feet away from that sliding weight. And that's good, because if that weight's down there and it's maybe in a current and it's clanking around, that'll attract the fish, and then they'll smell your bait. Now I'll talk about bait. For channel cats or blue cats, doesn't really matter. I like using live or cut bait the best. So what I do is I take and I catch a couple bluegill. Thanks, Zach. You can sit over there for a minute. What I do is I take a bluegill freshly caught. When I'm using live bait, I hook it between where the lateral line is on the bluegill, the middle of the fish, and between that and where the spines start on its back. And I hook it right through the middle, like so. So it's hanging there. And when it's down there, this is like this, and that fish is just going to swim in circles. And that's what really gets the catfish, is the vibrations, and they're going to smell that fish. Now, the live bait works perfectly fine, but if you are fishing a lot bigger body of water and the cats are more spread out, what you're going to do is you're going to cut that bait. Now what you do, when you get the sunfish about that big, bluegill, what I do is I cut the head off right behind the ear plate, the long black ear right there, and then I cut it right before the tail. So I have 2 pieces. Those 2 pieces, the middle section and the head, are good. The tail, not so good. Just throw that out. Or use it for something else, I don't know. But what you do when you've got the head is you hook this right through the lips of that sunfish, so it's just hanging there. And you want that hook exposed. And when you're hooking cut bait, you want to make sure that you don't get any scales on the hook, because that could prevent a hook set. That's like when you buy a brand new spinnerbait or something and it's got a really sharp hook and it's got a piece of plastic over the hook, you're not going to catch anything with that. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. Yes, I forgot to take the plastic off the spinnerbait one time when I was fishing it and missed 4 or 5 fish, but I took it off and I started catching them. So you want to make sure you've got it through the lips so that little head is sticking off, just like that. Don't have any scales on that, and you want the meat past the barb. So when that barb gets in the catfish, it's gonna stay there instead of it running around. And another thing, when you're fishing rocky cover, and you throw this out there, and it's in the rocks and stuff, and it's sitting there, when a catfish picks it up, what you want to do is you want to set the hook and pull that fish up as fast as you can. Because what they'll do is they'll get that jammed in between some rocks, and they'll start rubbing this line back and forth on the rocks. And that will cause abrasion, and it will break your line. So that's what happened to me just the other day. I caught a 3-pound catfish, and I brought it up, and the line was all beat up. And I grabbed the line and pulled him up on the bank, and the line snapped. Luckily, he got on the bank, so I could get the hook out of his mouth. But
yeah,
so
that happened to me.
It happened to him too. So another
I
thing.
had a drum.
Another thing you want to say, Zach, please stand over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I want to say is when you're catfishing, you're gonna throw that out there. La-di-da-di-da. And once you get the line to where it's on the bottom, but it's tight, what I like doing is I just like loosening that drag on that spinning reel a little bit. So instead of the rod pumping on the top and the fish feeling abrasion and resistance, you don't want that. So what I do is I loosen my drag and I sit by it. I sit by my rod like so. So when that catfish picks up that bait and starts swimming away, you're gonna hear this. That's like a little alarm. So you pick up the rod, you take some out, you let him run with it, okay? And you just tighten up that drag. Then you reel on the slack, feel if he's still there. If he is, that's when you set the hook. So that is a short lesson on how to catch catfish for the beginner.
Can I add a tip?
What?
When you're trying, when your drag is loose and you have the catfish on, don't yank it up as immediate as when you hear it, because all the drag is going to go out and it's going to get away. It happened to him when he had a really nice catfish on. So I gotta go. Bye.
Thank you, Zach, and that did happen to me before. So, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, whatever. I'm not really into that. I don't care if somebody subscribes to my channel. So, that'll be all for today. Thanks.